Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a new Cardfight Vanguard video for you guys today. And today we're going to be talking about the newest episode, episode 3, and what actually happened in this episode. So, real quick, the fight that happened was fast and furious, but when I finally broke it down and actually went through everything that happened in this fight was actually very technical. So it was actually pretty good. But this episode was about Taizo versus Kiyoma Kurosaki, who's his VP. And yeah, it was interesting. But if you guys enjoy this type of content, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's jump in and check it out and see what we can figure out happen with these cards. So, start of the episode, it actually starts with a flashback of Kiyoma going up to fight and actually winning a major tournament for Taizo. Turns out they refer to him as the unsung hero. Basically, Kiyoma shows up, whoops ass, and then dips. We actually see him leaving, and Taizo's like, "You're leaving already?" He's like, "Yeah, I gotta go back to work." And Taizo's like, the award ceremony. He's like, "I can't help it." They kind of get on each other's case. Taizo says he's too stoic all the time, and Kiyoma says he's too carefree. But they fist bump, and flashback ends. We jump over to the present. We see Akina laying on the roof of his school, and he's contemplating what Hikari had said to him in the last episode, talking about what his wish is and that, he needs to have his own wish. Kuon shows up, and at first he's just like, "I get it if you're a little weary of me," and Akina's like, "I'm not. Actually, I want to be friends with you. Just because we have to fight each other doesn't mean we need to be enemies," type shit. Suo shows up. Suo doesn't like it at first, but Akina and Kuon are just cool. So he's just like, "I'll see you guys at the Destined Showdown tonight," which, as we know, is the Fated One of Guiding Star versus the Destined One of Scales. So now we jump over to Taizo and Kuon, working at the company. And turns out Taizo is really, really scatterbrained. He's always focused on everything. And Kiyoma kind of gets on his case about it, basically saying that he's forgetting to do things he says he's going to do because he's so focused on Vanguard, his company, everything else in his life. We get a flashback, and it turns out he was like this in college too, where he had assignments to do that he would miss out on doing because he was too worried about Vanguard. So in the flashback, Kiyoma actually gives him some notes and tells him, go do the assignment, and then I'll help you with your deck. And it turns out Kiyoma's kind of been at his back, helping him get through all the stuff that he's forgetting to do. And then we jump to the present, and he tries to give him a fist bump, and Kiyoma kind of just looks at him and walks off. We jump to that evening, and now they're getting ready for the Destined fight. And Kiyoma's talking to the rest of the Destined ones, and they're not really a team. They just happen to be on the same side. They all have their own goals, their own aspirations. They don't really give a crap about each other at all. So that's kind of showing what kind of characters they're supposed to be. Now tries not to, but she has a little fangirl moment because Kiyoma and Taizo are the two best players on their actual national team, and they're both ridiculous card fighters. But they end up having to face each other. She tries not to be excited about it. She's excited about it. But then we go on to the actual game. Start of the game, or right before the game starts, Taizo asks Kiyoma what his wish is, and it turns out Kiyoma's wish is to take over the company. He wants to take over the company, and he wants to run it. There's a little more behind it, but we'll get into that as we go. We get there in the card fight. So the fight starts. We see their starters. Kiyoma's starter's name is, I'm going to warn you right now, I'm going to butcher the name of Kiyoma's cards because they are annoyingly named. But I'll do my best. But his starter's name is Guerrero. I'm going to put this on the screen, and you tell me how you would pronounce that. Guerrero Dragon. And of course, Taizo's got Blitz Chief Mechanic Wharton. But Kiyoma's going first, and he rides his grade 1. And here we go with more names. Rakuten Werfer Dragon. Now, for anybody that's never watched my breakdown of these episodes, I'm going to tell you a couple rules we got to follow as we talk about these episodes. So, on most cases, these guys do not draw for turn, and they do not energy charge for their energy generator. Sometimes, like in this game, they don't even set their energy generators, but they use energy skills all throughout the entire game. So just assume that their draw for turn and their energy charge through the start of turn happened. There's also going to be some skills we're going to talk about that they sped by, but I'll cover them as we went because they all actually end up mattering. But Kiyoma rides, sets his energy generator, turn ends. Turn 2 is Taizo. Taizo rides Blitz Best Programmer Strazzer. Taizo uses War Sun skill to draw. Taizo attacks with Strazzer. Kiyoma doesn't guard. Taizo doesn't get a trigger. Kiyoma takes 1 damage. Turn ends. Damage is 1-0. Taizo in the lead. But this is what I was talking about. Taizo should have got his energy generator. Should have energy charge 3. They skipped it. It's fine. Kiyoma goes. Kiyoma rides Gatling Cannon Dragon. So he uses the effect of Rakuten Werfer Dragon, the grade 1 that he rode, and it calls itself from the soul. He attacks with his Vanguard. Taizo guards, but Kiyoma doesn't get a trigger. He attacks with his grade 1. Taizo does guard, so at the end of the turn it's 1-0. Taizo's still in the lead. Turn 4, Taizo rides Blid Head Researcher Uber. Taizo uses Strazzer's skill. Real quick, for anybody that doesn't remember what Strazzer does, auto when this unit is rode upon by Blitz Head Researcher Uber. Soul Blast 1, search your deck for 1 product card with a grade less than or equal to your opponent's Vanguard, reveal it to and put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. So he adds Assault Flight Carrier Lubetzel to hand. Taizo sets Lubetzel into the order zone, and this is where this game kind of pissed me off, because a lot of these skills really matter, because Taizo ends up with a massive hand, and we don't get to see why, but this is why. So Lubetzel's skill, when this order is placed in the order zone, if you have a Vanguard with Blitz in its card name, you draw 1, you soul charge 1. He doesn't do that. His Lubetzel's second skill, because we're going to end up using it, auto order zone. When this card is operated, if it is your main phase, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose 1 unit card from among them with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, and you can call it to rear guard and shuffle your deck. But if it's your battle phase, you get to draw an extra card instead. So Taizo attacks with Uber. He uses Uber's skill. So Uber has 2 skills. The one he's using is when this unit attacks a Vanguard, Energy Blast 3, choose a product from your order zone and operate it. I'll go over Uber's second skill real quick because he's going to use it on the next turn. When this unit is rode upon by a unit with Welstrand's card name that has a Divine skill, if your order zone has a product card already, you can Soul Blast 1, discard a card, search your deck for up to 2 product cards with a different name from each other and from the card in your order zone, reveal them, put them into your hand. So he attacks, Energy Blast 3, operates Lubetzel, draws an extra card. Kiyoma guards, Taizo doesn't get a trigger, turns over, it's still 1-0, Taizo's still in the lead. And now this is where stuff starts to get a little weird. Again, I did my best trying to understand all of these skills as well as the names of a lot of the units that we see Kiyoma play, but these haven't been announced. These will be announced on Tuesday. We'll go over them again once we actually have the confirmed skills, but I'm pretty sure I nailed some of them. So this turn was really cool. So Kiyoma rides the Destined One of Scales. I'm hoping I say this right. Equilibra. I hope I got that right. Anyway, so he doesn't specify when he uses this skill, and that kind of bothers me because he's like, with its skill, I do blank. But I'm assuming this is Gatling Cannon Dragon skill, the grade 2 that he rode last turn. When he rides Equilibra, he checks a check top 3, he adds a grade 3 to his hand. I'm assuming it's going to be grade 3 or less. But he adds Panzer's Trek from the top 3 to his hand. I'm assuming it's Panzer's Trek Dragon, but he just says Panzer's Trek the entire time he plays the card. He moves his grade 1 bet to the back row, and then he calls Force Ember Dragon Red Exert Dragon in front of it, and the Panzer's Trek that he added on the other side. And this is where we find out Equilibria's first skill. You choose 3 rear guards, and he gives them 5k. And then I'm assuming if he chose 3, the Vanguard gets 10k and he gets to draw a card. The thing that's cool about this skill is that, as far as I can tell, this skill is 100% free. He doesn't counterblast. If you actually look at the screenshot I took, you can still see that he has a full soul. So maybe it costs energy. That's the only thing we don't see, because we never actually see Kiyoma's energy throughout the whole episode. But other than that, it looks like the skill is 100% free, which is cool. And then we get a new keyword mechanic. I think this is supposed to be based on Operate, but they wanted to, give it its own spin. So we get a keyword skill called Overcharge. Basically, if a unit with Overcharge was selected by Equilibria's skill, it triggers another skill. So because he used Equilibria's skill on Rakuten 10 Werfer Dragon, its skill activates, giving it an additional 10k on top of the 5k it already got from Equilibria's skill. But now we go to the battle phase. Kiyoma attacks with Equilibria. Taizo doesn't guard. Kiyoma gets a critical on the Twin Drive, gives the critical to the Vanguard and the power to the Panzer's Trick. Kiyoma attacks with the Panzer's Trick, uses its skill, so it also has an overcharge that when it attacks, it gains an additional 15,000 power. Taizo doesn't guard. At the end of the battle, it retires itself, and Kiyoma gets to draw a card. Kiyoma attacks with Red Expert. Taizo doesn't guard. Turn ends. The damage is 1 to 4, and now Kiyoma is way in the lead. All right, so now turn 6. Taizo rides the Faded One of Guiding Star. Welstra Blitz Arms. Taizo uses the Uber skill that we talked about last turn, and he adds Extreme Satellite Weaponry Euryanthe and Mobile Fortress of Obliteration. Frey Schultz Maxim. I'm pretty sure I got those names right. I've been, playing Welstra for a while, so I think I got the names right. Taizo activates Welstra's Divine Skill. For anybody that doesn't remember what Welstra's Divine Skill is, or if you're just seeing this for the first time. Act Vanguard Counterblast. Choose up to 2 product cards with different card names from your hand. Put them into the order zone. If you put 2 cards, choose a product from your order zone and operate it. So Taizo sets Euryanthe and sets Maximum and then operates the Maximum. For anybody that doesn't know what Maximum does, continuous, you cannot play this card. The thing with Maximum is you have to be able to put Maximum into the order zone with an effect, which he did with the Divine Skill, because Maximum is really powerful. Operate, auto, order zone. When this card is operated, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it, and choose one of your opponent's vanguards that gets minus 5,000 power till end of turn. That's technically half the skill. The second half is optional. You can counterblast one, return a rear guard to your hand, and call this card as a normal unit with 23k power and 1 critical to an open rear guard circle, and then at the end of turn you put it back into the order zone. So he retires the Red Excerpt, gives Equilibria minus 5k. Again, he misses a skill because he misses Euryanthe's skill. So Euryanthe has a skill when it's played. Auto when this card is put into the order zone. If you have a Grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Welstra in its card name, draw a card, energy charge 3. That's a huge deal. He ended up not doing it. Or at least they didn't show him do it. But then he also sets a Lubetzel from hand and then doesn't use the Lubetzel skill. It was frustrating, but that's another two more cards he would have had in hand. He does use Combine Rusher, which for anybody that doesn't know what Combine Rusher does, auto rear guard when this unit attacks a Grade 3 or greater Vanguard. If your order zone has 2 or more set orders, this unit will have 10,000 power till end of battle. Auto drop zone when a set order is placed from your hand is put into the order zone, you can counterblast 1 and call this card to rear guard, which is what he did. And then on his other side, he calls Blitz Operator Torres from hand. Taizo attacks with the Torres, uses its skill. Torres' skill, continuous rear guard circle. During your turn, if your order zone has a product, this unit gets 5,000 power. Auto rear guard circle when this unit attacks a Vanguard. If you have a Vanguard with Welstra in its card name and a Divine Skill, counterblast 1, choose a product from your order zone and operate it. So he operates Maximum again. He retires the Raken Werfer Dragon. I'm gonna get that name eventually. And he gives El Equilibria another minus 5k. This one Kiyoma guards. Taizo attacks with Welstra and uses Weltra's second skill. So Weltra's second skill is on attack, energy blast 2, choose a power from your order zone and operate it, and this unit gains 10,000 power. So he gives himself 10,000 power, operates Maximum again, gives another minus 5k. And he uses Maximum Counterblast this time to return Taurus to hand and call Maximum as a unit, so he gets a 4th attack. Kiyoma guards the Vanguard with a PG. Taizo gets a front trigger, gives us the front row. Mind you, Kiyoma blocked the first 2 attacks, so he hasn't taken a damage yet this turn. Taizo swings with Combine Rusher, Kiyoma takes it. Taizo swings with Maximum, Kiyoma takes it. Taizo returns Maximum back to the order zone, turns over. The damage is now 3 to 4 with Kiyoma still in the lead. Now, Kiyoma goes off. Kiyoma Persona rides. He calls another copy of Racket Werfer Dragon and 2 new cards called Farizia. Again, I did the best I could with these names. they were weird names. But he uses Equilibria's skill, gives the 3 back row units all plus 5k, gives his Vanguard plus 10k and draws. He then calls a new card called Shalhub and another copy of Panzer Trek. He uses the Divine Skill, so we get to find out the Divine Skill. Again, I don't see the cost of this. I think it might have been a Counterblast 1 because through the whole game, he only uses 2 Counterblasts. But he gets to give 2 units plus 5k power, and he deals 1 damage to Taizo's Vanguard. Now, I know that sounds pretty lackluster for a Divine Skill, but Taizo gets a draw trigger, and he basically negs the power on the draw trigger. Taizo still gets the draw, but he doesn't get any of the power, which is cool. It's kind of reminiscent of like the Purge and some of the older Kagero cards. Also, now he's given all 5 of his units plus 5k off of Equilibria's skill. So every single card that has an overcharge skill now all go off. So that's kind of the planning he was going for. Granted, I would have done things a little bit different, but I can see why it works. Anyway, so back to the rest of it, because now he goes to his battle phase. He attacks with Xiaohu. This is again the new grade 2. Taizo guards it. Kyoma attacks with Equilibria, and he activates Selub's overcharge skill. When the Vanguard attacks, it restands itself and it gets an additional 10k power. Mind you, it already swung for I think 53, but now it restands itself, gets 10k. Taizo perfect guards. Kyoma gets a critical on the twin drive. He gives them both to Shalub. Now Shalub attacks with another 50k. Taizo guards. Mind you, Taizo's already at 5 damage. Kyoma attacks with the Panzer's Trek. Taizo guards, and he actually drops the last 3 cards out of his hand, and we actually see, if you guys saw earlier when I was talking about him guarding on his second turn where he blocked all the damage, I took a screenshot of this specific grade 2 because I knew that grade 2 comes in handy in the late game. This skill, we don't actually know what the prerequisite is for it yet, but it gets plus 20k shield as a grade 2, which is kind of insane, and that's the only reason he even lived through that turn. But Kyoma retires the Panzer's Trek and draws a card, and now Taizo's going into his turn with 1 card in hand. The damage is 3 to 5. Kyoma's in the lead, and we get a little out of game action. We find out that Kyoma's wish in reality is to help Taizo. He wants to take the company over, not to like hurt Taizo because he's being selfish, but because he wants to take the responsibility of the company off of Taizo, so Taizo can just focus on Vanguard. But then we get to see what makes Taizo a badass. He doesn't care. Just like he didn't want to enter the Fated Clash in the first place, he only entered to save lives. He wants to do everything himself. He's saying that right now he's not where he wants to be. He's not, the best one in charge of the company. He's not the best card fighter, but he's going to keep on working to get there. And he says something that kind of stuck with me. Was like, he basically puts his own twist on the, you give up, it's over. As long as you keep trying, there's always potential to keep advancing. And that really resonated with me because, I love Taizo too. But now we go into turn 8, and this is the final turn of the game. Taizo doesn't Persona Ride. He just calls Torres. And Kyoma starts talking a little smack to him, basically said he has 1 counterblast. He can't do multiple swings with maximum. He basically has to either swing with his Vanguard, operate maximum, bounce the Torres, call the maximum to get 3 attacks, or he swings with Torres, counterblast 1, and doesn't get the extra attack. So he's kind of assed out. But then our boy Taizo drops a brand new card called Blitz Publicist Fentlicina. Names. But Taizo uses its skill. On place, it automatically gets to operate maximum. And for the rest of the turn, maximum's counterblast cost is reduced by 1. Insane. So he operates maximum immediately, retires the Shao Hoop, which was also grade 2, so that was an intercept, and gives Equilibria minus 5k. Taizo attacks with Wellstrup, operates Urianthe. Now, I didn't tell you guys what Urianthe's other skill is. I'll hit you with it right now. So, when Urianthe is operated, if it's operated during the battle phase by the ability of a Wellstra in its card name with a divine skill, if this card was not put into your order zone this turn, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it, choose one of your opponent's vanguards, give it minus 10,000 power, and if your opponent's damage zone has 4 or less cards, deal 1 damage. He immediately retires Rakan Warfare Dragon, gives Equilibria minus 10,000 power, and deals it a damage because he was only at 3 damage. Kyoma perfect guards, Taizo gets a critical, gives the effects to Torres. Taizo now attacks with Fentlicina. Kyoma doesn't guard, so now Kyoma goes to 5 damage. Taizo attacks with Torres, uses its skill, operates the maximum, retiring one of the Farizias, one of the new cards, the new grade 1s, the one that he has behind his Vanguard, and he gives Equilibria another minus 5k. Taizo returns the Fentlicina to hand, calls the maximum as a new unit. Kyoma guards the Torres, and then Taizo attacks with maximum. Kyoma doesn't guard. Taizo wins. The reason Kyoma guarded the Torres is because Torres had the critical. He had to bank on a heal trigger regardless, but rather than having to bank on 2, he was trying to bank on 1. But the game ends. Damage was 6 to 5. The Destined Showdown is now 1-1. We find out after Taizo wins that if one of the Destined Ones loses in this Destined Showdown, they're actually freed from Sybil's power. We get a little out of after game thoughts. You know, Akina's like, cool, I really need to win. I need to save Ikari. Gabrielius basically is confused because apparently Sybil's power to influence somebody's desires are a lot stronger than what Sybil is, you know, hitting the Destined Ones with. So he's trying to figure out what she's actually trying to do and wondering if, you know, what they need the design force for. I'm assuming it's to either, you know, bring themselves in reality to our world or vice versa, or to increase their power. I don't know. But Gabrielius basically theorizes that Sybil is possessing one of the Destined Ones. Which one? I don't know. My guess is on Hikari. Last thing we see is the next fight gets announced. It's the Fated One of Taboo versus the Destined One of Protection. It's Masanori versus Jinki. You know, kind of a blast from the past. I'm going to call it right now. Masanori's losing. Basically, at the end of all these episodes, when we find out what the next matchup is, I'm going to guess who's going to win, who's going to lose. I guessed at the end of last episode that Kiyomo was going to lose, and I was right. But let me know how you guys feel about this episode. I thought this episode was pretty good. I just felt like it was way too fast. Let me know how you guys feel about the Destined One of Scales, Equilibria. A lot of people already feel like his skill's underwhelming. I was hoping for more of a control playstyle, more of a playstyle for retiring, though the numbers he kind of hits are crazy. We know it's a 4-attack deck already, and if it's really free like that, like everything is just that easy to use, we might see it do some things. We'll get the translations on Tuesday. You guys know I will be streaming on Tuesday. We'll build this deck. We will try it out. And if you guys want to see more Levy Dress gameplay, let me know. We can play on that too. If you guys do want to be here for the stream, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, either here on YouTube or twitch.tv/Zaffico. If you guys want more content, any day I'm not streaming, I'm posting content. I do have a stream for tomorrow for our reactions. If you guys want to be part of that, same time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys want to check me out on social media, those links are down below. That is it from me, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.